I'm going to call to order tonight's school committee meeting, Tuesday, August 15th. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. I'd like to open the evening with comments from the public. Anybody in the audience that would like to address the committee? Okay. Seeing none, I will go on to presentation and discussions of issues of interest to the committee and invite Martin to come up to give us a fourth quarter update. And he'll stay for the second one also. Thank you. How are you, Martin?
Good, thank you. Good evening. We finally have final numbers, so that's good. I sent the report today. I apologize for the delay. We worked together with the finance department for the past 2 weeks. The original fiscal 17 year-end close was scheduled for August 4th. Friday it's been delayed. It was rescheduled for August 11th. Now it's tentative for this Friday, August 18th. But I think these are the final numbers, what we are presenting today. So everything was finally posted in Munis. In fiscal 17, as you have seen, we've absorbed the whole budget this year. It was $1 million more in appropriation from the town as compared to fiscal year 16 at $26,086,642. We focused at the end of the year on projects such as the paving of the parking lot at the NHS CPS parking lot. Also, the auditorium seats were changed, so now the whole auditorium is complete. We did roof repairs. There was painting of the hallway and lockers that are coming. I just spoke with Peter next week, I believe. It looks very nice. And we also invested in the technology needs of the district, network devices with the one-on-one initiative. So we feel we achieved a lot of goals with this budget this year. If you have any questions about it, or do you want me to just go to the community
I
school?
say you can, and I say go right through your report, and if we have questions, we'll address them at the end.
Okay.
Thank you, Martin.
The community school, unfortunately, the deficit was larger than what I projected on May 16th at our meeting here. Came to be $92,441. Revenues in programs such as Extended Day and the swimming program did not come to match last year's revenues, and that was the expectation when we did the projections. So we're working with Caitlin, the community school director, to see what the cause and reasons are for these declines. We do have enough of a fund balance to cover the deficit, but we cannot have a performance like this next year. I just want to put it out there. We need to do much better with revenues and control of expenses next year. I intend to work closely with Caitlin throughout the year, and we'll make it work. On a positive note, in the community school, the driver's ed program did great. Purchasing the new vehicle has paid off very well for the community school. We brought in almost $20,000 more in revenues this year as compared to last year. And as the vehicle depreciates the next two years, we having already covered the cost, I expect that we're going to do at least the same, if not better, in the future, in the following 2 years, where we have a warranty, obviously, and we don't have to pay so much repair and maintenance.
Right.
The school lunch program was throughout the year, as you've seen the reports. This comes as no surprise. It came at a very low deficit this year at $4,565. Which is actually, it is amazing. You are absolutely correct. I am surprised looking back at the presentations that Glenn has done in the past, and as well as what I've done the past 2 years. This is a great achievement. A lot of it has to do with reimbursements, with much better accounting of free and reduced students and the reimbursements we get from the state, and federal reimbursements as well. But also the revenues came up higher, the participation. There were more meals served this year than last year, almost over $17,000 more meals. So the same amount of operating days, 180 days. So the program just had a great year.
Excellent.
the free and reduced
That
percentages.
small deficit is amazing.
It's
Yeah.
Compared to
outstanding.
some of the ones we've seen, over 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's tremendous.
I have to compliment specifically on our end. Sarah Erickson has been amazing. She's caught on very quickly. She's done a great job, and as well as Linda Peterson, who's been very much involved on a weekly basis. She's done very timely turnovers. I have gotten a lot of compliments for her, not just from within the district, but also from the finance department of the town. Has called in and said, she's been great. She's always there on Tuesdays. Does very timely turnovers, very rare mistakes. It's been a great year. So,
Well, that's pretty remarkable. Thank you.
if you have any questions,
I'm sure we can get into this when we at some point. I don't expect to have a full conversation about the community school today, but the areas in which there seem to be revenue declines, I guess the one that surprises me the most would be the pool, and mostly because I see so much activity in the pool area. So is that income from membership and adult use of the pool, or how are you working to identify ways that we can strengthen that revenue generation? Because it seems that the pool is being used a lot.
it has been. I think we met this year with Caitlin, and Caitlin can actually answer that question probably better. But we met with her in gym. We had a discussion. I think the dolphin program was a little longer, so it took away some of the swimming income, which comes from kids, obviously, the different levels and groups that are in the pool. But again, Caitlin can.
Yeah, Caitlin, if you don't mind just to come up for a minute and answer that question. Thank you.
So we provided last year when we did our presentation a lot of information about the pool and the different types of memberships and such. So a couple of things happened this year with that, and part of it was staffing. So we didn't have enough learn to swim instructors towards the end. So part of it is, yes, it was a longer Dolphins, the USS WAC team was added. So it's busy, it's definitely busy, and Jim's working really hard at making sure that the different levels of customers are met, the services are met regarding the adults that want the fitness classes and the lap time and all of that. And we were really careful about addressing that for this summer so that we would have some more seasonal memberships signed up, because that's something that dropped off last year. So that was a big push. We also enacted a new pricing. We have, I think it was 9 years since the last time that it increased. So there's a balance, because we don't want to price it out where people then don't join. But there has been a pricing increase that went into effect July 1st. And when I do my report to the committee, I'll bring that information in so you can have more details on that. But again, when we don't have the staff to do the learn to swim, that's a huge revenue producer,
generator, yeah.
and we weren't able to run as many of those. Once we had the staff, then we tried to double up, but it goes on to the next level.
Okay.
He's running them in the mornings right now and in the afternoons. And regarding extended day, that is a big piece of that is related to the numbers. So if the numbers in extended day are, if the numbers at kindergarten entry are lower, the numbers in extended day are lower. So because they're just who the clients are for the extended day program, that's we fill the gap before they go to Boys and Girls Club. We also fill a gap for people that don't want that experience. They want their kids to have a different experience. So we have kids of all ages, up to 5th grade, in our extended day program. But it does mirror it mirrors the numbers in kindergarten.
Okay.
I think the other thing that I would have to jump in and say is that you have to figure out in advance, and sometimes that's very hard when you're running so many programs over the course of a year. But you've got to know that the new staff that you're bringing into any of the programs are going to have the resulting increase in revenue to cover that new staff. And I think there were a couple of areas that we need to look at that again and say, you know what, if the swim program is not bringing in those revenues, we're going to have to cut staff. Or any other program that you're looking at.
Right.
So,
Okay. Will be interesting, I think, to keep us up to speed on how we're going to make sure that is,
yeah,
is
we
rectified going
can't
forward.
have another year like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
It might just, and you probably already know this, but Sheila Lucy would be a great resource to find instructors.
Great.
Because she runs the lifeguard program for the town, and she often knows when her lifeguards are staying for extended periods after the season.
Great, thank you very much.
And or coming earlier
Well,
and,
yeah,
and can't
exactly.
guard
That was
just
the
yet.
part where we hit a snag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would make that introduction to
Okay.
Sheila.
That's
Thank
a
you
really
very
good
much.
tip. Thanks, Caitlin.
Appreciate that solution.
Wonderful. Martin, would you like to move on? We did that all, right? Fourth quarter,
It's all
financial
combined
foods,
in
it's all,
one, yeah.
okay. 2 agenda items, 1 presentation. Thank you so much, Martin.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay, so Mike has done the work to draft our 2017-2018 goals.
Again, this is just a draft to generate conversation among the school committee, and we can change, any piece of this. Oftentimes, some of the strategies remain the same. Always, the student achievement is what should drive us, and that always is the first goal that we try to address. And then the school committee in the past has wanted to maintain the commitment to the budget and ensuring that we have a transparent budget that allows for input from all of the stakeholders. In our conversation at strategic planning, I picked up on a couple of other things that the school committee mentioned. One, which is a goal for you and certainly will be in my goals, is to integrate new administrators into the existing leadership team. And we need to provide opportunities for that group to become a high-performing team. And I have some indicators for success on the right with that. And then the fourth is another thing that was clear in the strategic planning, that we want to continue to work on the working and learning culture in each building and in the district. We talked about the positive culture for staff and the positive culture for students. I added in here, under number 2C, each school will document its efforts to promote social emotional learning for its students, because that's something that we talked about at the retreat as well. And then we will maintain our commitment to safety and security. One thing that we're going to be doing this year is establishing a protocol that requires building administrators to do a monthly walkabout with their building supervisors, and they will submit that safety report, that monthly safety report, to Diane, who will share it at the meetings that we have throughout the year. And then finally, promoting and nurturing family and school partnerships. But we're open to anything else that the committee may feel is missing. So give me feedback. Typically, we sort of leave that out there for you to talk about and get back to me with any changes, and then we'll bring that to the next meeting on September 5th and try to adopt them if we're in agreement.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments or feedback at this moment? Okay, so please be sure to email Mike or myself directly with comments or edits to that. Wonderful. Okay, so moving on to discussion and votes to be taken. We have the great hard work that went into the approval of the school handbooks, and thanks to Jen and Zona for taking on the task of reviewing those edits made by the school principals, and thank you to the principals for working with us on making products that we can actually see the changes that are being proposed for the current year. Do you want to comment on any of that before we make a motion to vote them in?
No, I think we worked fast and furiously trying to, at the final, hour, working to get this page by page,
Yep.
Zona and I and Mike, we read through it all. So I think a lot of work went into it, and I appreciate all the help from the administrators.
Great.
The one thing that I would point out, and that was made clear to the subcommittee, is that the Nantucket Intermediate School book handbook is really not verbatim, but pretty close to the NES. And it is Eve Marie's intention to work with her school council this year to revamp that. So that's one that could be, I won't say significantly different, but will probably have the most changes from this year to next year as they have a chance to live with that.
Great.
One thing I had asked Mike to look into too is if we are supposed to be reviewing the athletic handbook. That's not something that's come before us. So I just asked him to look into that and see if that's under our purview.
Fantastic. Great. So may I have a motion to approve the school handbooks for NHS, CPS, NIS, and NES?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A motion to authorize student activity accounts to be established and or added. The class of 2021 moved from CPS to NHS. The class of 2024 moved from NIS, formerly NES, to CPS. Class of 2025, 26, 27 moved from NES to NIS. And the class of 2030 NES new pre-K class.
31, 2031. You said 2030, I think.
Oh,
That's what
I'm sorry, I have it on the agenda.
Yeah, that's what we have on the agenda.
Okay,
I was
31
reading.
here on the
Uh-huh.
list.
Yes. 2031. Okay, class of 2031 then, NES, the new pre-K class. So may I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A motion to authorize transfer from NHS Nantucket Agency account to NHS Student Activities account for the class of 2017 in the amount of $40,808.61.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nobody wants to say wow.
Yeah.
$40,000 in the senior, that's pretty
That's
amazing.
pretty remarkable.
The cookies sold.
I'm feeling like 2018 could slow their roll on December Delight, but maybe that's just because I'm a parent. Okay, so never mind. It was just a joke. Didn't actually mean that. May I have a motion to approve gift donation from the Harvey Foundation to the Nantucket Community School, 50 gift bags filled with quote-unquote stuff for reading, drawing, and math.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's such a wonderful, I saw the pictures from the Harvey Foundation on social media, and that was a wonderful day to see students getting their bags.
Please, I will abstain from this vote.
Fantastic. May I have a motion to approve a gift donation from Egan Maritime Institute in the amount of $7,475.80 and $416 to the CPS gift account for maritime studies?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A motion to approve a gift donation from the Community Foundation for $12,000 to Nantucket Community School for the Ready, Set, School Early Childhood Program.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion to approve, gift donation for new staff, Dreamland, Emma Ross, Hair and Beauty, Island Pharmacy, various gifts from those organizations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to approve the following policies: GBGB, Staff Health and Safety, and GBGE, Domestic Violence Leave Policy.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to amend policy DJE, bidding requirements?
Second. So moved. Sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
a motion to approve the
Can I
August.
just back up for a second? Were we going to actually have a presentation?
No, I think there were, there were some questions about that.
Right. So I
that-
thought we were actually going to have a discussion with Martin and.
Well, they were prepared to speak to it.
Oh, okay.
Here tonight.
I'm sorry.
But we moved a little bit faster than
Okay.
than I thought, but I think you could
Yeah, there
still
were
have
some
that discussion.
questions that were brought up at the retreat about.
One of, if I may?
Sure.
This is on bidding requirements, and what you see was changing the exceeding amount from 25,000 to 50,000. And still remaining on competitive bidding. I think where the questions came in, and Zona in particular had the question, so I hope I have her question right, is that sometimes there isn't time to bring these bids to the school committee because it would mean tying the hands. It's usually in the area of facilities, and you may want Diane and Martin to enlighten you as to how it affects them. I don't think that it's often, but Martin and Diane, do you want to join us?
I think maybe if you could just give us a brief example of a time in which
Yeah.
a bid would be procured without sufficient time for school committee to be notified about it. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, most of this, I guess, policy is really based on state law and the bidding laws that, and the state did raise the threshold, the dollar threshold, so this is sort of in line with that. When I came to the school, Glenn told me that the only time we would bring a contract to school committee is if it crossed fiscal years. So we've followed that policy. If I had a 3-year contract for HVAC maintenance or something like that, I would definitely, give it to Logan to put on the school committee agenda for approval. Other than that, we really depend on Mike and Martin to tell us that we have the money and that we have appropriately bid it and open the bids publicly, or depending on what kind of a bid it is, and we just move forward with the contracts. If that's changed, I'll need to know. It will affect the 30-day period because of the timing of school committee sometimes and what time we have to get things to Logan to get on the agenda. So if, say, I open a bid today, it may be 2 weeks from now before I can even get it on an agenda for approval, and it may not get approved because there could be questions, and then the 30 days of them holding their price goes out the window and I'll have to start over. So that's a concern a little bit. Martin had other...
From my perspective, it is end of year funds, honestly, when we are at the end of the year and we're working on projects, and a lot of them are over the threshold and we have to bid them out. When we go for a competitive bidding and we have to go through the whole process, if it gets delayed and we cross fiscal years, the finance department of the town would hold us to the dates. A project would usually be approved for payment in the next fiscal year if it was started in the current fiscal year. So this might be, from my perspective, it could be timing. The other, so that's basically, it's basically an efficiency, but I am open to suggestions as to how you want to participate in the process.
I'm just going to say that because, and I think maybe you had some similar concerns, but because Zona is not here tonight, and she was primarily, I think, one who had some concerns about the way the contracts are presented and or approved by the committee, I'm almost thinking that this should have its own agenda item that's separate from the policy, which the policy really is in line with, as you said, Diane, mass state procurement laws. We have to have the policy in place because it's the law, but the process by which contracts are approved could be a separate agenda item that we could have a discussion about. Does that make more sense?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll just give you a good example, though, and I think Martin's right. It's usually at the end of the year. Paving, right? When we knew that we had money at the end of the year, we needed to move quickly, or it would cross fiscal years, so we wanted to use that money for paving. In this case, there's only one person that does paving on Nantucket, and so we needed to move quickly, or, quite frankly, that money goes back to
The general fund.
town.
Yeah.
And, we would like to spend it on our greatest needs. So that's an example. I think, and we can talk about this more, what you're right, when Zona's here. It's in the second paragraph where it says the superintendent will inform the school committee. So you could almost put that in quotes, because I think that is the challenging word. What does that mean, inform the school committee? Could I do that via an email? Or does it have to be at a school
Public
committee
session,
meeting?
yeah.
A public session, so I think that would be a worthwhile conversation.
I think so also.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about the wanting to jam the works up. I think just a little
Yeah.
bit more transparent, a little bit more communication about where the open contracts are would be helpful. So I
Yeah.
think you're right, the conversation about informing us would be helpful. So thank you
No,
both.
it's my concern again is not in any way that we're feeling jammed.
Yeah.
It's just how we're gonna proceed with the project from the point of town when they strictly, literally by date of the invoice, they go whether it's a fiscal 17 or a fiscal 18 expense, and it becomes a back and forth.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well, thank you both.
thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like a motion to approve the August 1st, 2017 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the July 26, 2017 and August 3rd, 2017 workshop minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the transfers and invoices?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. And now we'll go on to the superintendent's report.
I was hoping Zona would be here to see that there were no transfer requests
I know,
received.
I almost said that out loud.
Well, let's see, several things. I think I'll show off my shirt, first of all, which is the Nantucket Intermediate School logo. And we're very excited that,
I bet.
I think Diane came off of the mainland and her entire car was stuffed with all of the shirts that are going to be given to the children and to the staff. But we're looking forward, and we'll coordinate that. Maybe even the staff will have them in time for the ribbon cutting and the students on the first day of school. But
Exciting.
yeah, very
Very,
exciting.
very
And so thank you to Diane for getting that done, and Eve Marie and anybody else that played a part in the design of that. Last meeting, I forgot to bring to your attention that Michelle Brady was here, and so I want to do that publicly today. Our Director of Special Services, welcome, and my apologies for not doing that. And Elise, have you been formally welcomed? I'm not sure that you have. Elise Gegline is the assistant principal at the intermediate school. So,
Welcome.
and I think we welcomed Jen as the new high school assistant principal.
did.
So
Well,
we have a full roster of administrative
we
team.
do.
We do. We need to fix our letterhead to reflect our new
Right. Right.
assistant principals and principals.
So all of that is good. The FOMP's annual outdoor drive-in occurred, and I'm not going to steal thunder. With your permission, I think Logan should be the one that
Sure.
would report on that.
I just thought it would be great to mention that it's taken off. This was the fourth annual. And the first year, it always becomes a fundraiser, you never know how it's gonna go. And we did actually eke out $2,000 in the first year. Last year was huge, we had made over 20, and we had resulted with over 16,000, and this year we did really well as well. So cumulatively, we've been able to give slightly over 35,000 to the school for the drive-in, which is really fun, and I think it's great, a great event. And every time we do it, people are always saying, "This is terrific. You should do this every Friday night."
Easy for you to say.
And it's amazing how much it takes to pull together the one evening, but it's been so nice, and the Member Civic Association has been really terrific about having us out there. And all of the people in town, and boards, and funding, and Parks and Rec across have been just so kind and helpful, and we feel great that we leave the spaces out there. It's just been a nice change that I just want to mention that. And England and Wales is doing.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who organized that. It's a great event.
And then on the horizon, we're staying up on things. We'll have math report number 2 at the September 5th meeting. Michael Horton will make a presentation. We'll hope to have the district goals for you and my superintendent's goals, which will parallel the district goals. And we'll give you the first look at a future school calendar for 18-19.
I think we should do another survey about
Oh, you know,
one of these years.
you're killing me. And then we'd like to also have a report on summer programs. Michael could report on the summer school. He and Jean actually could make that report, and probably Andrea Marr, who has been integral to that, and then the community school will have Caitlin report on just so many projects going on, and then I don't have it here, but I think we'll have a building and grounds update on what we've accomplished, because that list is significant. I don't know if anybody's has driven around or walked through. It was referenced earlier tonight, the painting in CPS makes a huge difference.
It's remarkable.
Getting those gray walls white. The lifts in the auto shop are finally going in, so that's a big project. And I know that school's about to start, because a week ago I started to hyperventilate and think that we weren't going to be ready to open, even though I know we will open, ready or not, they will be here, and we will be ready. So
I think it would be lovely as part of that, Mike, to have a somewhat brief presentation on the ribbon cutting for the new school, and also pictures of the first day of school for community members who watch this program on TV but maybe aren't going to be there in person themselves. I think it's a really special moment for our community to give some special attention to that at that meeting would be nice.
I think that's great, and I think in this day and age it's very easy to get pictures of the first assembly and the ribbon cutting and everything up on the website and out to the community. So it will be an exciting day. So I hope that you plan on attending. We sent a hold the date, and Logan's working on a more formal invitation to go out to the community. And then come over for the first morning of school in the new school. I think that'll be another time.
But walk over.
Yes.
And say goodbye to your children before you go in.
Exactly. But please walk.
Right.
Will there be an opportunity for a tour or several
Tours will
before
be
the start of school?
will be on the 28th, following the ribbon cutting, and we're going to open it up. And 31st. 28th is the Monday. So 31st. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Is that open to the public?
We are going to open it, send invitations out to all at NPS, town, school, and the parents of the of NES and NIS.
Fantastic.
Those are the
Yes.
parents that we thought we should focus on.
Mike, the enrollment numbers were in the packet, but not on the agenda.
Yes.
Did you want to touch on those? Because they're also fairly remarkable.
You know, I got that out. As I said to you when I sent them, this is a moving target. It moves every day, and I'm sure that there were children enrolling today somewhere in the district. It's nice to see that the numbers are around the 350 in 3 of the schools now, and we're not looking at a number like 730. But it's plain to see that the high school will have the highest numbers at 547. That's tight sneakers. We have moved another program out of the high school to give them more space. The special ed department has moved over to NES, and so every time their numbers go up, we try to give them a little bit more space with some of the moves.
Great.
So
Great.
I think, those numbers actually went down a few since July, but I feel pretty confident they'll go up between now and the first
Start
day of school.
Is 1612 one of the highest total enrollments we've had
Yep.
to date? I mean, that's a fairly remarkable number for our district. I keep feeling like I'm using the word remarkable. I can't think of another one to use, so sorry. It's
okay.
astounding. So, fantastic. Yes, Pauline.
Could we get an update on hiring?
Oh, sure.
Like right now? Sure.
Sure, we can.
I didn't bring it with me, but I know it all too well. We are in good shape at the high school. John is, we have a candidate for the library position that is shared between the middle school and the high school, and an experienced librarian who has been involved in 2 previous library renovations, which is something that we're facing, and so we're very excited about that. Hired math teachers, and the one position that still remains open is an EL position at the high school, although John had an interview today, and we'll see where that goes. But I don't believe that there is anything else at the high school. There may be a TA position that we're looking at. We would love to be able to find a part-time landscaping. That is not something that we have been successful with. So if you know somebody who might be a good candidate for that, it's one class, and it's a popular class, and we'd like to be able to maintain it. At the middle school, I hesitate to say it, but at this moment, we're fully staffed. And I think Peter had a resignation the day of opening last year, so we're always leery about talking about that too much. Eve Marie is in pretty good shape. We have a 5th grade position, met a candidate that we really like today, and we'll see how that pans out. And then I think that there's maybe one TA position at the intermediate school that we're looking to fill. And we still would like to try to add a .2 Spanish teacher. And that's another thing that we have some possibilities, but we haven't really finalized that yet.
Great.
And then at the elementary school, we're looking for an IDSC special ed teacher, and that's a critical position. I know that they have an interview tomorrow for that. And then a .8 preschool teacher, and then several TA positions. We do have candidates for the TA positions, And so we're still working fast and furiously to fill those roles. Did I miss something?
Trainer.
Athletic trainer we have, and Matthew Hunt is joining us from the mainland, and we're very excited about that. I think we're trying to find him housing, or maybe Diane has stepped forward for the housing to get here, Matt here in time for preseason.
Great.
So,
Staying with us for about a week until his housing is ready.
yeah,
Excellent.
and that's what people do on Nantucket. It's very gratifying.
Great, thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yep.
Mike, may I make a suggestion on the
Sure.
horizon?
Yep.
Just, and I'll defer to you to think through this, but I was just looking at some of the things and how sort of heavy-weighted the 5th is, and being the first day of school and wanting to talk about building and opening of school. Maybe we can shift a couple things to the 19th.
We can.
And I was just thinking the future school calendar was an easy one, that we have no pressure to start that on September 5th, and not, thinking that the summer programs would be really nice to hear about on September 5th, but maybe the math report could even move to the 19th, but
I'm fine with moving the calendar. That would give both Logan and me a sigh of relief. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
And that would be fine, because that's still a year out. The summer programs, I think you really want to have, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'm looking at those. It's probably 15 minutes each for the
Okay.
community school and summer program. Could be a little bit more, but I think you're still well under an hour and a half.
great.
With
And
those.
I'll defer to you
Yeah.
if there's anything else you think as we get closer to that
Yeah.
date, if you think that some adjustments need to be
The-
made, but I'm willing to entertain those so that we don't have an exhausting meeting after what will be certainly a very full day.
The one thing that we found out today in a webinar, that the MCAS for elementary and middle school, intermediate and middle school won't be in until October 24th.
Of course it won't be.
Which is very disappointing to all of us.
Astounding.
And I'll try not to editorialize on that.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. The high school will, however, be in on time.
Absolutely. Well, that is incredibly frustrating, but not surprising. Well, thank you very much. Does anybody have any updates for subcommittee work group? Anything like that? Wonderful. Without any further ado, may I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just do one thing before I...